guys, Kristen here and welcome to another process video, and today I'm working on day 18 of 30 days of sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life, and I am working on a layout of my son at Universal. He had found a star that said Andy on it, probably an Andy Griffith star if I'm guessing, and so his name's Andrew, likes to go by Andy, so of course he had to get his picture with it and ended up covering up the last name with his feet or his shoes. So I am working with some of this is Echo Park and some of this is Doodlebug, and it's a very heavily Disney themed collection. And the reason why I chose that, even though we weren't really technically at Disney, we were down there for a trip to Disney, and then Universal was an additional stop after that. So I'm like, you know what, I'll just do Disney themed. I mean, it's hard, like you can't really find Universal themed collections as much as like you can Disney themed. So I lean heavily into the Disney. Now the sketch is perfect for this because of course it had the stars, and then behind it, it looked like there was a film strip. So I end up picking out this film strip paper. I think that was a Doodlebug. So the Doodlebug I think was like Adventure at the Park or Fun at the Park or something like that. And then the Echo Park collection was, I don't know, like I know I have Wish Upon a Star, Wish Upon a Star 2. So probably one of those two collections. Now the Doodlebug one was a little bit older of a collection, so I did have to kind of like get some of it, piecemeal it from different stores to get as much of it as I could. And so the star and the sketch is like more, it's more straight up and down with additional stars. I liked it at an angle like this, and then I opted to with his picture, so there were clusters of stars on either side of the picture. There just wasn't enough room because I kind of wanted the majority of the star to be visible. I didn't want to cover up a lot of it with his picture because then I feel like then it doesn't look like as much of a star. So you will see I'll pull in a sticker sheet of stars. And then I chose to put these like little tiny hearts and stars. And of course, some of them are Mickey Mouse themed. Now the camera reel down there, the little oval tag, that was, I think, from Wish Upon a Star, either 1 or 2. And then I had fussy cut it out a little bit because the background I didn't think really went with like the colors of it. I ended up popping behind a Minnie Mouse tag. Well, at least that's what I refer to it as, just because since the background of the base paper was white, then that little circular tag or journaling label was getting a little lost. So that little camera there is a Doodle Pop, or a Shaker Pop, I should say. So it's just a 3D sticker that Doodlebug does. And if they're Shaker Pops, they have like kind of like little shakers, either like acrylic pieces or glitter in them. And then they also have what's called our Doodle Pops. And those are usually like 3D stickers with like a lot of enamel kind of elements to them. So really cute. I'm going to go ahead and get these pictures adhered down. And then here's the stickers that I was talking about. So that came from Wish Upon a Star 1 or 2, whichever one of those I was using. I can't recall because they both, have very similar looks to them. So, and that's Echo Park. So I'm just getting everything lined back up here since I got his photographs adhered down. I just want to make sure I've got the star where I want it. So I do decide to kind of move it around a little bit. I want to give myself enough room down there to get the labels on so that you can see those. And I cut part of this tag off with the intention of maybe using it later. Anytime it's a lot of it's going to get lost behind. I mean, even though that's a little tiny piece, you could use that for, some kind of embellishment or to pop behind a picture or something. But anytime I'm going to use like a majority of an element behind something else, I just feel, I don't know, if it's just the older scrapbooker in me, it was like to conserve everything that you can. I really could have just left it. It would have been fine. But I felt like a lot of it was going to get lost. So I'm like, why not cut it off and, maybe use it later? And it probably will just sit there and not be used. I should have probably just tucked it in behind there. I don't know. So. I'm just making sure that this is where I want it. And I was like, do I put it straight or do I do it at an angle? But I'm like, since the star is at an angle, like it makes sense to have it on an angle. I'm just getting some of these pieces glued on here. The Doodle Pop, or the Doodlebug Design Disney themed paper and the Echo Park paper, they just, like, the coloring worked perfectly together. Like, it's almost hard to tell which is from which line because they were so close together in color and kind of, had similar themes to them, like, with hearts and stars and things like that. So. And so you can see here, I'm using Wish Upon a Star and Wish Upon a Star 2 stickers. This piece that says my favorite character, that was actually from Doodlebug's, from their cardstock stickers. I really liked this label here to where I kind of went back and forth. I'd seen, and you'll see me probably hold it up here in a minute. I'd seen this Wish Upon a Star and thought that would make a really good title. But I also like my favorite character because this kid is hilarious. He is a character. He cracks me up. He's so witty and smart. And so I wanted that on there, but I didn't want to take away from the Wish Upon a Star. So you could see I'm kind of back and forth. Like, do I make this my title or do I do Wish Upon a Star? And I decided at the end of the day, I'm like, I really like both of them. So I'm like, I'm going to put both of them on here. I'm going to put my favorite character here and Wish Upon a Star here. Because then I thought like about stacking them on top of each other, but then I thought that was too much. So to kind of take some of the emphasis off of my favorite character, I do tuck some of it in behind this camera. So then that way, it's not obvious that that's the title. And then I'm going to put this here. And I see this film strip on here and I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So I got to figure out a spot to get this worked in. So you'll see me kind of holding it up in different spots and different orientations. And I'm kind of like, where'd I put it? And then I'm like, oh, it goes perfectly here in that orientation. So I stick that there. Now that also helped because you can see that there's a guy kind of on the right hand side that helped cover up. So I cut away from this. You can see at the top that there's like a film strip with some hearts on it there. That I decided to put up. It's a sticker that, and I don't recall if that was from Doodlebug or if it was a Wish Upon a Star. I used it to end up covering that guy up at the top because he was more visible in that picture, but there wasn't a good way to edit it out. I mean, unless I went and used software and all that, but I'm like, I just don't have time for it. So back in the day, like if you didn't like something in a picture, you covered it up with an embellishment or you tried to, crop it out or whatever. So I decided to use a sticker over it since the film reel under Wish Upon a Star had actually kind of helped to cover him up a little bit as well. So I wasn't going to put anything up there, but then I was like, I kind of want to get that guy covered up so you can't really see him. So this says, I can't read it. My eyes don't work that well. Oh, I love this. Jeez. So that was from the Doodlebug sticker set. And then I kind of felt like there needed to be something up here, just something small, not like anything, anything super, I don't want to put like a lot of clusters or anything like over embellished up there because I felt like there was enough embellishing around the stars and kind of around his picture. But I just felt like that part just needed a little something, like it just looked a little naked up there to me. So I was going to put this banner piece over this label, and stick it up there, but you'll see here in a minute I actually switch it out. I was looking at the stickers, like is there anything else I want to embellish with, and I see a little sticker that's a ticket that says Make a Wish. And I'm like, well, that goes really well with the theme or the title. So I was trying to figure out a different spot to kind of stick it in. So you see me holding it up in different areas here. I'm like, I can't really find a good spot. I initially thought I was going to tuck it up here, but then most of the writing was going to get cut off. And so I'm like, well, what about up here instead of this banner? Let me see if it would look better up here. And I thought, well, maybe I can still make the banner work with this. And I was like, nah, not really. So I ended up just taking the banner off. So I'll use that on a different layout. And then I decided to add a couple little hearts up here. Add another Mickey heart, and then I think a star up here, and then maybe another heart over on the other side. No, a star over on the other side, and then I think another heart by the Mickey heart. Just an extra little, embellishment up there. So, and I felt like it added to the page. It really, it's pretty simple up there. So, and here is the finished layout. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I thought it was really cute. I've only done a couple Disney layouts so far, but I have a ton more pictures to document, so I'll probably be working on a lot of Disney in the upcoming videos that I film. Here are some more close-ups, and I appreciate you coming by to watch another process video.